Man, it's Friday. Got to get down on Friday. I'm so happy that I'm here with a surprising number of individuals. What's up, Miles? Two Wise Fridays. What's happening, dude?
What up? What up?
What up? And also AJ's here. That's a thing. What's
Because
up?
I did it, my J. You see what I did? I see what I did there?
I did. I liked it a lot.
Thank you. I stayed
yeah.
up all night writing that.
And he practiced
Pickle just
before the show.
unsubbed.
I
He
practiced
practiced
several
this
times,
whole
too.
intro routine.
Yeah, I was sitting waiting for GAMESCAST going, oh.
There's some crash test dummy shit going on over there. Once there was this kid who... All right, let's get... Before everyone unsubscribes, I think we should start the show. Let's go. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 West Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. That's right. We also care about your oral pleasure. That's why our good friend Rod Pop puts us up on podcast services of your choice. And if you happen to, not be so attentive and you really just want to get to the point of it all, what is the point of it all? That's the bigger question. Then you can watch the show a little bit later because Rhodey or Waleed will put timestamps into the show after the fact. My name's Brian Paul Nishan right here without Parole Nishan over here to my left. You're right in the center. Yeah. Let's
Wait, he's in the center.
Hold on. It's AJ. Yeah.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Miles? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Friday. And I know your Monday kind of sucked, but that's okay because Fridays don't ever suck. Like, hardly ever. Not even Friday the 13th.
Just for me.
Even Friday the 13th, it's supposed to be a bad luck day. And that's always like the greatest day of the year for me.
Of the year?
The year. How many days until Halloween?
Not enough.
Too many.
Yeah. Not enough. Oh, crap.
He's
and on the far right-hand side of the screen, it's Miles Dyer from youtube.com/Miles.
Hello, Game Cats. Hey, Brian. Hey, AJ. Super looking forward to today's episode because, wow, what a conversation we're going to be having about probably one of the most anticipated VR titles for PSVR2. And
Yeah.
I guess we got a little bit to talk about, I think. At least 5 minutes worth of content, I think.
I mean, that's fine. I don't mind having a 5-minute show. I got a lot to do tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
We all have to just give our answers. It has to be one sentence, and that's it. Show's over.
That's never been the case in all of the years we've been doing this. We have never been so succinct.
No.
In I think we've done 1,000 episodes of GamesCast since its inception. Never been that succinct. That would be pretty great, though.
I'm actually mostly looking forward to the 4-minute challenge. Is it 4 minutes? I think it's 4 minutes. Where Miles and I are going to take Brian's ass down.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You're not allowed to look at chat when there's two of you. How about that?
The streak begins today, cats.
Oh man, do you know how many people are gonna show up for work tomorrow, AJ, because you're here today? They're gonna be like, oh well, yesterday was Monday, today's obviously Tuesday, right? So many people go into work on Saturday that just aren't supposed to be there. This is the kind of effect we have on the population.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say you're welcome in advance because they're gonna wake up and be like, shit, I'm late for work. GamesCast was last night, and then they're gonna be getting ready and be like, oh my god, it's Saturday. I can go back to bed. This is the greatest day of my life. So you're welcome.
That'd be amazing. World. What a feeling.
Fifth in the chat with the Australian $2 tip says PAX East karaoke fundraiser. Yeah, well, listen, it does seem like we're gonna possibly do a fundraising stream this weekend. We're finally getting around to it
this week.
Literally a month until PAX East. I can't believe it's so close. Right, by the time Sunday rolls around, I think it'll be almost a month to the day. And so yeah, we are gonna try to get the whole Parole board together and do something special on the channel. So hopefully you guys are just hanging out on Sunday doing nothing, and you can show up and just have some can hang out with the community. Hopefully we actually do it this time. Oof.
I'm good. I have like 2 karaoke songs I've ever done well-ish. Only 2.
I've never had one I've done well. Never.
Yeah, you're not going to say that and leave us hanging, are you, AJ?
Yeah, what are they? Apart from My Way.
Apart from My Way, my J, my J,
My J. My.
Born to Be Wild, and
Awesome.
and something by The Doors. Oh, light my fire, light my fire.
Hell yeah.
I crushed it at this karaoke bar, this Korean karaoke bar once with those 2.
Something
Got, like,
by The
applause.
Doors, like their most famous song. What could it?
It took me a minute.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I don't even understand. Biff, thank you for the donation. I don't understand what a PAX East karaoke fundraiser is for. Does it cost money to do karaoke, or are you putting money in to suggest songs for us to perform?
Or are they paying, like, for me to stop singing? Like, please stop. Please stop.
I
Maybe that
mean,
could be it.
are we all singers? I mean, I've never been a very good one but I mean, I am a singer songwriter. Like, that is something I do. I don't think I'm great at it or anything, but like I'm
not a
all
singer.
right. You're a
I
screamer.
consider myself a terrible singer, even though I was the lead singer of a band for 5 years.
Oh my God, I've been the lead singer of so many bands, and all those bands were terrible because I am a terrible singer as well.
Yeah.
Therefore,
they were terrible by default. Actually, they were okay, but I can't sing. I hate
Miles, wait,
singers,
hold
so-
on, Miles, you can't sing like because you can scream really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't sing, though.
Ah,
On
interesting.
one record, I sang 3 notes, and because the producer said, like, we want you to sing in harmony with Luke, who was our actual singer, and it took like 20 minutes. And honestly, when it happened, I burst into tears because I'd never had notes come out of me before. Like, because the thing is, your vocal cords is very personal. Like, when you play guitar or anything like that, it's all great.
Sure.
You're playing an instrument, but when it's your own voice, I've never been able to sing, and I've never done anything since then. But I'd love to. But I think that if you're in your late 30s and you haven't learnt to sing yet, I think that the climb is much steeper. Because the whole point is, when you're a kid, you don't really give a damn, and you just try what you can and learn it. But it is one of my bucket list things. I'd like to get lessons and learn to sing, but no, I can't sing.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I was going to elaborate on that, but you know what? I'm not going to. I feel like we've already
Probably went a
stopped.
little too far into that.
Yeah, maybe. But I do have Schemata Theory playing full screen right here. So if anybody doesn't know about Miles's amazing musical past, this is there he is, and he screams great. I've actually never heard AJ sing other than Gamescast, so I have no comment on that yet.
PAX East will do karaoke.
It's very depressing. You'd love it.
Love
Perfect. Nice. Elderly Morningstar with the 750 says, "Happy Friday, Day, and Frials Day." Oh my God, this is painful. This is painful. Thank you
It's like
so
nails
much.
on a chalkboard. But thank you for the donation.
Wow, this is
Speaking of which, the chalkboard mechanics in Wanderer were amazing. Sorry.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
definitely got to get that out of the way right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ben Schroeder, who just gifted
But-
5 without parole membership to the chat. Congrats, Parasite, Boffin, J. Rob, Obermuckle, Kieran. Everyone's getting called out in the chat because these people are trying to just sit here quietly and enjoy the show. And now we found out that you were watching. Thanks, Ben Schroeder, for pulling them out of the closet. You guys been okay? How's AJ? You weren't here on Monday's show. That's why you're here today. You made me do the show solo. How dare you? And
Yeah, I was surprised to see that I was there in some form unexpectedly.
Yeah.
That was a thanks for choosing that picture.
yeah, it looked like you were like really. We're gonna go with really high instead of orgasming because those were the 2 responses from the chat. You were
was like-
really high. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good actually. You know what? I'm gonna go full. Oop, that's the wrong one.
Screen grab it, guys. Can we do it side by
there it
side?
is. There it is.
Wait, has he actually paused there, or is he actually still? That's impressive.
That is really impressive.
AJ, can you stop now, please? It's scaring me.
Okay, sorry.
That was too. That was impressively still.
Was that actually pretty accurate?
That was from my memory. It was.
Okay, good.
But then I
Very
don't
good.
trust my memory, so.
All right, guys. Let's see. Let's kick off the show with a little bit of news. This is like news in a roundabout way. Resist is coming to PlayStation VR2 next week. This is news that may have been lost on some people because Resist showed up on the PlayStation Store. We were like, oh sweet, Resist is coming to PSVR2, and then. If you guys were here for the Into Black episode where we read through the entire blog post about the binary mill bringing Into Black to PSVR 2, they just kind of snuck it in there at the end saying, oh, and also, we don't have a release date for Into Black, but it's coming soon. And also Resist is coming out April 10th. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, they just kind of snuck it in there. It's like, why was
Oh
the
my
entire
God.
blog post? What? What's wrong? What's wrong?
6 days. 6 days.
6 days until Into Black. I mean,
No, into Resist. Yeah, I'm actually really excited. The features, man. 90 native frames per second. Upgraded lighting.
And reflection.
Haptics.
Yeah.
Haptics when you're swinging. HDR, dynamic eye track foveated rendering, like Miles said. That's pretty good. And Brian, you know, we were talking about this last night, and you said like binary mill, even though like most of us are kind of beyond being interested in Gun Club anymore. You know, it was great when it came out, but you know,
Right.
It's like it's kind of had its time and passed. You mentioned that you thought they did a really good job with that port.
Oh yeah, I mean it was one of those that you know the resolution was crystal clear, all of the haptics and adaptive triggers, you know, especially for a game that's so focused on weapons, they nailed all of that, and it's great because you know they kind of get the basics down, the foundation of how to build a great PSVR2 game, and I'm assuming that you're just gonna bring all of that into Resist and add to it. So I am completely confident that these guys are going to do a great job, and I think what's even better than that is that. They seem all in on PSVR 2, right? Yes, we got Gun Club. That was a classic binary mill game. But here we are now. We're getting Resist. We're getting Into Black, which are two of their most highly rated games. How long is it going to be until we get Rush VR, the wingsuit racing game? Right? Am I missing any other binary mill games? Were those the big ones? I guess Mini Motor Racing X was another one.
Yeah.
Which I'd be happy to get, but not essential.
Yeah, I'm looking mostly forward to Resist and dude, Into Black. I haven't had a chance to even talk about that game yet. Like Into Black looks like my jam. Like that is my type of game right there. From what it looks like, that looks really awesome. So, Miles, what about you? Which one of these you interested in more? I guess.
Oh man, I'm into both of them for different reasons. I mean, I love the vibe and the lighting of Into Black. It looks great, but there are other Resist. So it was on PSVR, right?
Resist was
it on
not.
PSVR?
No.
Oh, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. Okay. I've never played it. But obviously, it's hard not to think about the Spider-Man experience that was on PSVR. And the thing that lacked was any sense of speed. Whereas from the look at this looks like it has speed. So I'm really, really excited to see it, especially if it has, especially because it has all those features. If you have, 90 native and all that, it's just going to make it feel smooth and help you get that sense of momentum in that. I mean, for all its flaws, Dead Hook, I did like a lot of the movement on it. I wish it looked sharper in the headset and that. And so kind of it shows you that these things can be achieved, and hopefully this will be. I mean, Binary Mill, in my experience, I've not played a huge amount of their games, but Gun Club, my first experience was actually the PSVR2 version. And one thing I would definitely describe it as is a well-polished game. And so if these come out as polished titles, I think they're going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, polished games are nice, aren't they?
They are indeed.
So infrequent. This is some Gun Club footage I've got from the PSVR2 version, and yeah, even just looking at this, good reminder of just how sharp it looked, and how good all the gun play mechanics felt, reloading and all that. I mean, listen, for me, this is a nice. It's not quite on this level, but it certainly brings back memories of, like, Square Enix abandoning Nintendo to go to PlayStation, and then when they finally came back to Nintendo, it was like, oh, this is great. A lot of developers jumped ship during the PSVR1 era. They were like, oh, we're off to greener pastures. Sorry, sirens on my end. Greener pastures with the Quest and PC VR gaming, and PSVR limited to a certain degree and whatever. And so watching games like Resist come out or get announced and not have any PSVR support or being mentioned for PSVR2, this feels like a good coming home moment, where it's like these developers that we worked closely with, played all of their games, we're excited about every release. Here we are, we're back. And so my big question is, from here on out, are we going to see their games simultaneously release on PSVR2, or is that going to be part of the plan, or at least announced as a game that's coming to PSVR2 when the game gets announced? Or are we going to kind of constantly be in this this cycle where we're just waiting for them to announce a PSVR2 version a year or two after it's come out on other platforms? Either way, I'm happy that they're here, and I'm happy that these are happening.
Yeah, no overthinkage required. Looking forward to Resist. Looking forward to Into Black. Bring it on, baby. They look great. Let's go, Binary Mill. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Here, I don't want to let tips or super chats get out of the way. We got Andrew Bailey. What's up, dude? With the level 2 membership, says referencing Wander in regards to Wanderer. I'd point out the seated mode is borked. It puts you in permanent crouch. Took 15 attempts to make the first jump and stuff. Yeah, I've heard lots of people point to different things that are irritating them or an issue with Wander, and a lot of the height stuff does seem to be off. So I've seen a lot of people try to play the game, listen to a lot of people who've tried to play the game, and the height calibration is a major issue with almost everybody.
There's no automated, because a lot of games, they have it where, you put your arms out and it will just know what your height is. This game has none of that. And I'm always willing to plead like it's me being the stupid one here. Yeah. But when you set the height, you choose centimeters or inches. But in the UK, we do feet and inches, and I know it's 12 inches per foot. I didn't have time on my live stream
in the UK.
Yeah, so I'm like,
really? So why do they only have the then their thing only being in inches and centimeters is weird. Then
listen, we buy milk. We buy milk.
I'm 5'8" in the UK, and so I was not prepared. In the live stream, I was asking the chat, can someone tell me how many inches are in 5'8"? Because I wasn't going to do 12 times 5. I mean, I could have done.
It's the same for us too, man. It's the same thing for us. Yeah, okay. I had to Google it. I was like, how many inches tall am I?
I'm around 172. But I mean, look, this is a puzzle game, so straight out of the gate, you've got a puzzle. So,
well. We got lots more of Arcanage.
Hey, did you hear that Arcanage sells
big? I did.
How's their sales going? Good.
Big, yeah.
Big,
like selling really big. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've seen the sales chart, it goes from okay to big very quickly.
It's big. Hot off the presses right there.
Yeah. Oh shit, you forgot it on the thumbnail today. Oh well, maybe next time.
Yeah. Maybe next time. We'll see. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for life with the level 1 membership, says finally tried Arcanage and Behemoth. And both are WOW. Sorry, Mr. Electric. I just stole that from you. Do you ever watch Eric the Electric? He's like a competitive eater type person on YouTube.
No.
I went down a fucking Eric the Electric rabbit hole, and and so now, yeah, there's like one person in the chat that knows what I'm talking about. WOW. Yeah, dude, that's awesome to hear. Like, Arcanage was great at launch. Behemoth took a little while to get awesome, but I think it's relatively awesome now. Maybe could still use another patch or two. I don't know. I haven't checked in recently, but that's good to hear. And I think
Behemoth just got another patch. Yeah, like perfect. Another one.
And honestly, listen, I know there's always a lot of negativity surrounding every launch, and it's like, oh, well, I knew this was going to happen. A lot of fucking
only when they are kind of botched. Yeah.
Right. A lot of Monday morning quarterbacks out there being like, "Oh, I could have told you it wasn't going to be good." Well, yeah, because when you say because when your mentality is everything sucks all the time, yeah, you're going to be right here and there, right?
Yeah,
Stop being so
sure.
goddamn negative. Right? Maybe people would have listened to you if you weren't such a piece of shit. No, I'm kidding. It's I mean, listen, a lot of PSVR2. In all seriousness, a lot of PSVR2 launches and video game launches. Fucking, what world are you living in where it's just PSVR2 launches? It's all launches.
Yeah.
Are fucking garbage most days, right? So you just don't. I don't, man. I don't really want to
celebrate the ones that are good.
I'm gonna say this right now. I think a lot of people out there bought Wonder because I had been so positive about it for the week leading up to it. Like, I was talking about it very positively and saying how great it was and like one of my favorite VR games. And so like as much as you're disappointed, and maybe you feel like I misled you, I feel like I did too, because maybe I should have budgeted my time better and played more before, speaking about it. But like, I mean, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm really sorry that anybody out there spent their money and bought it. But the fact is, and we're going to get into this when we talk about the game, but like, I honestly do think that this is a team deserving of your money. And I think that they're going to fix everything. And I think Wonder is going to be a fucking phenomenal game once all the issues are fixed. A lot of people are just being like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm having a great time. Everything's awesome. And so like, there are people out there having a good time already with it. So I think we're on our way. That was a long way to go for a topic that we're not on yet. I'm sorry. All right, we're going to get back to Wonder in just a second. Fifth with the Australian $5 tip says, Brian, AJ, Miles, are you interested in the Switch 2? Listen, I don't know if it's happening in the UK for you, Miles, as well. But Nintendo basically just said, hey, you're not going to be able to pre-order when we told you you're going to be able to pre-order because of the tariff situation. We might have to reconsider how much it's going to cost. And everything was already going to be really expensive. And so I think I'm backing out of picking up a Switch 2 at launch. Because if it was about as much as I was going to be able to afford to buy like one game and the system. So I think I'm just going to hold back and see what happens with the Switch 2 at this point. You guys interested at all?
You first.
Interested? Sure. I love Nintendo. I have my entire life. My very first console was a NES. But I've pretty much the last Nintendo console I actually owned was the Wii U.
The Switch is great. You should like listen. If they drop the price of Switch 1, right, when Switch 2 comes out, you should consider picking up a Switch 1 OLED. The library's amazing.
Yeah, I think if I don't. I don't know. Interested, yes. I love Nintendo. I love a lot of their games, their IPs. But I haven't played them in like over 10, 15, maybe 20 years or something. I've actually cared 10 years at least. So like, yeah, am I going to get one? Probably not. No, I just play VR pretty much exclusively these days, with very little exceptions. So yeah, sure. It looks fine or whatever. Yes, it's expensive. It's ridiculous kind of with some of the prices, the price hikes, things that they're doing, maybe even potentially more. So like, am I going to buy one? No. But I will be kind of keeping one eye open on it to see what's going on over there. And maybe eventually there'll be something to convince me. But at this time, no, just kind of observing from a distance.
Miles?
Well, firstly, the pricing thing it's not going to impact us because we decided not to put tariffs on Japan. But that definitely helps.
Cause and effect. Okay.
Yeah. Clearly, your president is not a Switch player. Who knew? But look, the Nintendo Switch, the first one, I was gonna get it, and the reason I didn't was because I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try PSVR, and that was honestly the choice I made. So, then I was looking at like, when they do the upgrade, was it the OLED that came out? Oh, this might be where I buy it, and then it wasn't like all the extra features that people were hoping it came with. So, look, the Switch 2, I'm definitely interested in. Growing up, I played the N64. My brother had it. I had the original Game Boy. I've still got my Game Boy Advance, all the original Pokemon games on it. I absolutely adore Nintendo games. I just haven't played them in a very long time. And like looking at Mario Kart World and stuff, And there's all the speculation that Nintendo is, I mean, who isn't considering the VR space? And, you know, that kind of interests me as well. I mean, my goodness, if they ever made a Pokemon VR game, like,
yeah, you were just saying before the show that you're back on Pokemon Go. Is that real?
Yeah, I am. When I was in the States with my colleagues, they all of leadership at Impact Reality and Flat VR Studios play Pokemon Go. Like, they're all giving each other gifts and that. I couldn't believe how much has been added since 2018. How many features? So I started playing it, and then as soon as my plane landed in the UK, I deleted it, and then 2 days later I reinstalled it, and then bought for like $50 the Pokemon Go Plus, which is an auto catcher, and yeah, I've been walking like 8 kilometers a day at least, just doing about 2 hours of walking every morning, getting some sun, more sun than I got in the US. Yeah, man, Pokemon Go is amazing.
You know what my favorite part about all this news and this stuff going on is, in the back of my head, I was kind of like, I wonder if people are going to think like, hey, VR is looking a little bit less expensive now. Like, that's actually kind of a good thing for us in a way where, yeah, it's like, well, now a PSVR2 may not cost as much. I mean, who knows? Maybe it will, but it may make VR seem a little bit cheaper in comparison. So I do like that effect for sure. How
much is the Switch 2? Like before the tariff issue for you guys? Like it was like $450. Yeah, was it? And then it's like it's a bit more, isn't it, for the?
And the games are $80, $90 for physical.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, $400 headset, $40 games, $50 games.
Yeah, puts that in perspective, doesn't it? Jesus.
Come to us.
These are the big questions at the moment, is like every studio and like console maker is trying to shift the pricing. Like obviously Xbox is doing their Games Pass. Sony clearly wants to put the prices up. Nintendo going to 80. There's the talk of Grand Theft Auto 6 could be $100 game, and you know what? If it is, it'd be worth the money, in my opinion.
Grand Theft Auto is the only one that can get away with this.
Right. Yes,
it's literally the only one. Maybe a giant Bethesda game or something, but yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. I think the pricing issue will definitely. I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if that has a major effect on sales for their next console. But
isn't Nintendo also the console that never has a sale? Right, the prices of games, yeah, they never go down, do they? Yeah,
the game prices hold their value, which I mean, listen, I don't want to sound anti-consumer, but I actually really respect that. It's as if Nintendo really values their IPs and say, hey, we spent a lot of time and money making this game. We think it's worth this, right? But then you get games like, God of War Ragnarok that like 6 months after they come out are like $20-$30 or something like that. It's like, what? Yeah. Well, like if. Don't get me wrong. Like I think it's great. I think it's great when games go on sale. So like that people who are holding off and waiting for a sale and don't want to spend $70 because that's a lot of fucking money. It makes sense. Like this putting games on sale and making that a routine, and so that everybody can get their hands on it eventually and continue to make money for the studio. It all makes sense. But there is part of Nintendo I respect for saying, hey, we make quality games and we're going to charge you a premium price. It just difficult to afford that. So yeah, 6 of 1, I guess. All right, guys, let's move along. Thank you, Fifth, for getting us onto that tangent. I'm so interested to see what happens with the Switch, especially with the high prices of games. See if that becomes a viable price point for people or not. Both would be understandable, I think. GameSpot, was it yesterday, the day before, did a 40-minute video on the Midnight Walk, which, if you haven't had a chance to check out, we're not going to spend a ton of time here. But holy crap, man! Like they've got a lot of exclusive footage. They've got the developers here.
It's a 40-minute video.
It's a 40-minute video.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, right?
Like, right now. Should we all watch it now and then come back?
No, right now.
Okay.
Where's the come?
Later.
Oh, on your back.
Jesus, Brian, behave.
Oh my goodness!
So you
I
watch
thought
out.
this was a well-respected Christian family show without Parole.
There is a cross hanging on the wall. It's just upside down. Oh man. Anyway, lots of exclusive gameplay footage. Shows you just how cool the first-person interactions are going to be, and just how cool the claymation is. Like I am. We're only a month away from this. If you can believe it. It's coming out with the first week in May 9th, May 10th, something like that. I forget. I can't.
Holy crap!
It is coming so soon, which means just wait for a JPEG that tells us that it's getting delayed anytime now. But yeah, I mean, you guys, excitement level for this pretty high, Miles?
Dude, I'm super hyped for this. I mean, it just looks absolutely stunning. I haven't actually seen this preview, but I know from the initial trailer, it's the idea that you can see the fingerprint marks on the like environments and claymation, so you can see it's all been done by hand. I still can't get my head around how it's been done technically, because it is just that incredible. And in a world where, and I'm not here to steer the conversation elsewhere, but in a world where AI and like quick generation of stuff, to see something that's been handmade with so much love and care, the human touch, I think that actually it holds even more weight for that reason.
Yeah, I still don't know like what kind of depth we're going to be looking at here. Not sure if it's
Yeah.
going to be more of like an experience, how long it's going to be. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not expecting for the game being made out of claymation, I'm not expecting a super long game, to be honest with you, but it's more about the experience for me. It's not really, it doesn't really matter about like the amount of content for something like this. But the gameplay that they showed was pretty interesting, to say the least. It's like, you know, it shows you playing from like a first person, almost look like a first person shooter perspective, and then you know you meet up with Pot Boy, which is like the little character or whatever, and it seems like you're kind of like there's a little mix of like little bit of like tiny bit of shooting, a little bit of puzzle solving stuff going on. So it'll be really interesting. I still I need to like I really only just kind of skimmed through it because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but I am a little bit more curious about the gameplay, where maybe I'll like listen to it all the way through and not look at it, just as to, you know, say the surprise. But visually it's looking really nice, and I'm very excited to see and curious to see what that looks like in the headset, because dude, if that's like super sharp and clear and everything, like that's going to be pretty amazing.
Bearded Power 666 in the chat says, I'm worried about Midnight Walk. Mura in large draw distances could equal a blurry looking game. Hope I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong too. We've got, I mean, my bigger concern is that, like, is this going to be reprojected? I feel like claymation plus reprojection is going to equal some really crappy looking animation, right? Because it's like, imagine, for people who are sensitive to reprojection like I am, imagine claymation but with ghosting. It's like that's going to ruin the effect completely for me, especially with stuff moving kind of like right in front of your face. So that's a bigger concern for me. I think we see developers really getting the hang of making VR games on PSVR2, and seeing games like, listen, for any criticism we give Wonder, the game looks beautiful. Right, the draw distance are amazing, and the resolution is fantastic. Same with Hitman. Hitman has this amazing level of clarity, and like the worlds are so big, and the draw distance forever, and the maps are gigantic, and it's like, damn, it's like I feel like people are finally wrapping their head around this stuff. And so, under the guidance of Fast Travel Games, I think Moonhead probably has this under control. It's not like it's their first VR game or anything like that. These guys did Ghost Giant prior. So I have faith, and I just hope it's not misguided faith. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. You guys went.
My favorite comment was from Salvador. It says, Brian, the comeback story.
Yeah, I saw that. It's true.
This is yeah. I mean, the thing is like, especially after this week, I'm like, I'm going to be very cautious about every game moving forward. like it's okay to be excited, but I'm not going to be like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing ever until I actually play it and get, hands on with it and see it. I've learned a hard lesson this week about, first impressions and
Why is
things.
this your hard lesson? Why did it take Wander? It wasn't Switchback. Like I mean, like this has been going on since long before.
It's
we
true.
were
This
covering
is nothing
those.
new. This is nothing new. But no, I don't know. It's just we've also seen so little and gotten so little information on the VR portion of it. But on paper, it seems like it could be really cool. Plus, as I've said before, I'm a big fan of claymation games. Like Skull Monkeys is one of my favorite PSVR or PS1 games. I loved Clay Fighter, liked Armor Krog, Neverhood games. A lot of cool stuff. It's just very. That's the beauty. This is when like you get the best out of gaming. Sometimes is when
I love that you listed 4 claymation games and 3 of them were from the Neverhood.
This is true. The Neverhood. Wait.
Skull Monkeys is from
2
the
of
Neverhood.
them. Yeah, 2 of those were from Neverhood.
Oh, yeah?
Skull Monkeys and no.
What?
That was actually from the guy that did Earthworm Jim. Believe it or not.
All right.
I think, but it has been like
how
a while.
dare I question
But,
AJ the claymation king?
I just honestly just Skull Monkeys. Really, I love Skull Monkeys the most. But yeah, this is where video games can have the potential to become like an art, right? And a really cool way of expressing. Plus, it's got this like Tim Burton. Like I do love Nightmare Before Christmas as well. I liked it before Hot Topic existed and before anybody thought it was cool. But anyways, yeah, cool stuff, man. Looking forward to this. I so much potential here.
Excellent. Well, we should probably get into the meat of the show here. And I do apologize for the footage I'm going to show. The footage I'm going to show is the same footage I believe I showed. I don't know, whenever we talked about it over the last week, because I've just been really trying to get through the game, and obviously struggling with some bugs and some issues, and you know, I had a review well underway when I thought that everything was going to be great with the game, and so unfortunately I'm going to be showing the same footage through this. I should just be playing Miles's Let's Play. So hold on 1 second. Well, let me fix my mic. Apparently, check. Whoop, too loud.
It's
Check.
Oh, quiet again.
Check. Good? Are we good? Are we
Yeah, I
good?
think so.
Yeah? Okay.
Goodbye.
Is this working? Okay, so hopefully we get that all sorted out. Hopefully it's all fixed. The mixer I've got for my microphone is garbage, man. Like in the middle of conversations, it'll just start shitting the bed. So this is exactly what just happened. Miles, I feel like we, AJ and I at least, have been talking about Wander for quite a while. Sirens on my end. Let's kick off this conversation. Please let me know. Describe your experience with Wander when you tried to play it for the first time on stream yesterday. How did that go for you?
The biggest technical issue I had was with my own audio at the very start of my Let's Play.
True.
Yeah. So that was the good thing. Look, Wanderer, like you guys, absolutely adored it on PSVR. And I've been super excited for this game, knowing it's coming to PSVR2. So when there is high expectations, it means there's a higher bar for it to clear, and that isn't always fair. But that's just the reality of how it is. I played 2 hours on my Let's Play, and my overall experience was I was completely blown away. As a technical achievement, this game looks absolutely stunning in the headset. The audio design is fantastic, from the music that we loved from the original to the environments to the sound. I talked about the chalkboard earlier, the different scratch sounds as you're doing different movements. There's so much care and attention to detail there. And also with the haptics, My goodness, the haptics are incredibly nuanced, and the thing that I love most in VR games is when you put your hand to a wall, it doesn't clip through, it touches it, and you actually get haptics. I think a lot about that in the claustrophobia of Madison VR, for example. That works really well. So all of that was exceptional. But here's the problem. When a game delivers such high quality in all those areas, the visuals, the audio, the haptics, it means that when glitches happen and things don't meet that level of polish, it stands out from a mile away. And visuals, I've said, have looked fantastic. I experienced popping, even when like traversing on one of the walls early on where you got the brickwork, right next to the brickwork, there was popping happening. When it came to the audio, there are elements where the audio just goes completely silent. The combat, which we'll get to a bit later, because combat definitely is its own kettle of fish. Throwing items and that, there's no sound to it. Enemies make no sound. I mean, I've never thrown a knife in a man's head, so maybe they don't make any noise at all when they just fall silently down to the ground. And then for the haptics as well, there was just a few moments where I just thought, oh, that felt odd. I couldn't really put my finger on it. I don't know if it was with weaponry and stuff like that. So yeah, look, over the 2 hours, I loved it overall. I've not experienced the game breaking stuff that I know has been flagged up. So my takeaway from it is I think this is fantastic. I think people should go out and get this game, especially if they've never played it before. And even if there are issues, okay, people can wait for it. This is the team that I think can fix all these issues. I mean, even on my live stream, they were saying in real time, and some of them had to look away at some of the stuff I was doing, which I'll get to a bit later. I had a bit of fun with certain moments that did things I didn't expect, and the devs didn't expect to make happen, that kind of broke the game. But yeah, they're working frantically on it. And when you see the level of polish Mighty Eyes has with a game like Wanderer, when it's done well, fixing the rest of it is totally achievable. I have every faith that they can do it. Yes, the question is, should this have all been done before it launched? Yeah, I mean, that's a completely valid conversation. But I was really happy with the 2 hours I had, and I'm really happy that people get to experience this, especially if it's their first time ever experiencing the world of Wanderer. So yeah, overall, positive experiences. I do have some other criticisms, but I'll throw it back to you guys before I go into any of them.
Yeah, just before I pass it on to AJ, I do want to say I'm glad, like, right, and I feel like I see a lot of people who are an hour or 2 or 3 hours in going, yeah, this I'm having a great time so far. Like, this is, there's little issues here and there, but man, visually, puzzle solving wise, like, it's really delivering on so many different fronts simultaneously that, like, I think a lot of people were confused by my 180 and having to, like, be very negative and say, hey, maybe you should hold off and not buy this right now. But also, like, I really hope that the people who are experiencing it right now and having a good time and not having too many, like, bugs, I hope that remains the case for them. Right? Usually when I do a review, or a Brian Bite in this case, my concern is, like, I hope that my review reflects the majority out there, what most people are experiencing. But in this particular case, I'm really hoping that the bugs I'm experiencing in the game breaking stuff that I've encountered, I'm hoping that it's more specific to me, and that there's fewer people experiencing these things instead of most everyone experiencing these things. So anyway, yeah, great first impressions. Starts off wonderfully, and I do think there's a solid game here. And yeah, we'll talk more about some of the issues in a second. But AJ, why don't you kick it off with your first impressions? You're giving Miles just talked about his first 2 hours.
I need to do more than my first impressions here, because that's what I did last week, and I felt pretty much the exact same way that Miles felt. That was what we were allowed to play, was the first 2 hours. They informed us that it was a pre-review build and that there was going to be some things fixed, and we were like, well, so this is not a review, this is just our first impressions. I was really excited about it, with the thought that, the potential of, like, a lot of stuff was going to be fixed by launch. Here's the thing, though. I think I think that there's an amazing game in here, but it unfortunately is kind of ruined by a severe lack of polish, bugs, jank, all sorts of stuff that just adds up over time. It just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up. And while I do think things, I agree that I do think the good news here is that I do think everything is fixable in the game. I think if you took out all the bugs and you polished it up a bunch as is right now, I feel like you'd have an amazing game with really bad melee combat, specifically melee combat. The melee combat is god awful. But obviously there's like so many things that this game does. Obviously visually, I agree. Visually, it's wonderful. It's very beautiful. Runs at a native 90 frames per second. But it goes beyond that for me than just the graphics. Like I find so many things about this game interesting. A time travel story. All these little funny, cool references, whether it be from like the different books you can pick up or from the things that you're doing or the way you're interacting with history, this kind of like altered history or whatever. I find this game, like several things about this game, absolutely fascinating and like very interesting, very intellectually created in so many ways. And also from a game design standpoint, everything they're trying to do or their vision that they want to do here, like I'm 100% on board with, because you're looking at this amazing action adventure IP that basically has endless potential because you're traveling through time. You can go to any location. You know, anything can happen. You get to revisit some like, you know, some altered history. You get to go to the future where it's all just purely fictional stuff, and just made up. And like, there's so many interesting things about this game. But the problem is, man, you know, the reason I am here today instead of doing a review yesterday or having a review or something is because I really was curious to see the day one patch and how much that was going to affect, you know, where the game was at. And I'll be honest with you, like Brian, when I told you, like we've been kind of talking all week, and I had said, sure, I'm kind of worried about this game, like because yeah. I know what they're trying to do, and it's amazing, but what I'm seeing where the game is at, where like how much polish it needs, you know, some like, and that's the thing is, after spending several more hours with it, what's up?
Well, I'm going to agree with you, right? Like, because all week long, you and I have been talking, and you were using expressions like, "Oh man, it's like death by 1,000 cuts," right? Like the game itself is great, but man, there's all these little things that pile up, and they're really getting to me, and blah blah blah. And I was like, "You're out of your fucking mind!" Like I've pretty much been ahead of you in the game for most of the week, and I was like, "You're out of your mind." It's like, yes, there's a bunch of little things that, like, you know, that we expect in games nowadays, and I was like, yeah, these little things are not getting in the way of my enjoyment of the game. They are there, they are present, they are, yes, you brought them up and they're an issue, but like, man, like these are the kind of things you expect to get patched out day 1, day 7, day 20, whatever, and it's not affecting my enjoyment until it did, and then when it did, it was so bad, and it was just problem after problem after problem, and so yes, I think you were ahead of the curve on this one big time.
And it gets worse as it goes on. That's another thing too. Like the thing is also playing the beginning of the game. I've played it before. I know what to do. I know what the game wants me to do.
Yeah.
And so like I think I was really able to avoid a lot of issues. Miles, you may not know this, but Brian and I were actually watching your stream last night,
screaming at the screen. Like, oh,
Brian was definitely screaming.
I was just angry.
But like the thing you did, like the way that so like when I played through like that boat section, and you know, it shows even the trailer, it wants you to shoot the flare gun at the thing, and like what did you
that's
do?
Why it's in the trailer. That's why it's in the trailer. They were like, hey everybody, when you get to this point, make sure you do this.
That's the thing.
I remember the flare gun from playing it on the last one. I was just like, oh, I forgot that you could throw stuff at them. Can you actually hit them? And it was one thing after another, and then chaos.
It totally broke the game when you did that. And that's the thing about VR, man, is that like people can have with VR, it's not the same as flat screen gaming. People can have such widely different experiences because not only the way they play the game, but the way they interact with the environments, the things that they do in the game. And so like, yeah. And so I think starting out, I was actually really lucky in avoiding most issues. And then anything I did see, I was like, oh, this is like obvious that they're going to see, right? And like, this is one that you can't miss and will be patched day one. Well, as it turns out, like that's not even entirely the case either. Like the day one patch, I have actually noticed some things that they did fix, but there's also new problems that I've noticed that are introduced now. Stuff like, my hands getting stuck into doors sometimes, or just some weird things happening that were not happening before. There's definitely some new things introduced. So, it's been a rough go, man. It's been a rough go to the point where like, I don't know, I'm like 8-10 hours in and I cannot go 5 minutes. I swear to God, this is true. I cannot go 5 minutes without encountering a new bug. And many of them may be minor, but it's like, I literally can't go 5 minutes without seeing a bug. And yeah, it's like you said, man, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And a lot of the stuff is occurring because of all the new stuff that they've added. Like, so it really comes off as like, while I can appreciate what they're trying to achieve here, the end product, what we got, it's so all the new stuff they added, it's like they added tons of stuff. There's way more content than what they had before. It feels like a completely new experience. They've even redesigned a lot of the existing levels. So even if you've played something before, like it's possibly different. I love that about it. But that being said, it's like they've added all this stuff and they haven't polished it up. And for $50 game, this stuff has to be polished. That's the thing for me. This isn't like an early access, here, pay $15. We want your feedback. We're going to, we want to continue to improve the game. It's like, no, you're charging a premium AAA quality price here. And while the
not
vision
compared
of
to
the
Mario
game,
Kart 9,
it's no Nintendo prices, but still for VR game, it's around that AAA price. This is what Horizon Call the Mountain is. This is what Resident Evil, Gran Turismo are at MSRP. That's also a big problem here. So there's a million little problems that need to get solved before I feel comfortable fully recommending this game. But I can also understand that, like, yeah, like if you've already picked it up or if you've been playing it, there's still a lot of really good stuff that you're going to experience throughout it.
Sure.
And in the way they've redesigned these levels, like they're incredibly detailed and really fun and interesting to actually just like spend time in. Like, take your time. If that's the best advice I could give you, if you just can't resist holding off on this game, like take your time. And like, dude, some of the most fun I've had was just chilling on the moon, racing around an RC car. And I didn't want to stop doing that. Like, I'm like, dude, like if you just let go and just like get immersed in this game and like, yeah, like a lot of what they've accomplished here, bugs and lack of polish aside, is pretty remarkable in so many different ways.
Couple different comments in the chat here. Chris James says 50. It says 40 for me in the store. That's because you've owned it on PSVR 1, I'm guessing. That is, you get a $10 discount if you've already purchased the game. It's not clear. It's not clear that that's what's happening. They don't have like a price and then cross it out or anything like that. So people are getting the discount, not realizing they're getting the discount. I think that's what's happening for you. Gareth Roberts says, I can't even get the game to load in the first lift right at the beginning that we just saw footage of. I press the only button that works. 8, hear the lift sound effect, but it never fades to black and starts loading. Dude, so this is the same kind of experience I was having watching Miles' stream yesterday, because Miles is like, here I am like white going, oh, well, at least the first couple hours that he's going to play are pretty polished and I didn't really have any issues with. And then like almost right from the get-go, it's just like you're breaking the game left and right. I was like, how is this possible? How is this, I was being a good boy and doing what the game asked me to do. But the second you don't do that, it's like broken. It's crazy.
I was surprised, like hitting a red barrel with a baseball bat. Like the easy fix is just make it that you can't destroy the red barrel with any other item except the flare gun.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a quick fix for it. So yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because as AJ was saying, VR, it's not like motions are attached to a button press. If you're throwing stuff, you've got trajectory, you've got all these different variations and opportunities to interact with your environment in different ways. And so and for a game, and it goes back to what I was saying with the visuals, the audio, the haptics were so great. It means that when it doesn't work, it stands out. And that's also with the gameplay mechanics. The gameplay mechanics, when you're doing what it wants you to do, it's amazing. And there's a few times where you step outside of it. I don't want to spoil this, so I'm going to speak about this very carefully. But there are obviously enemies added into this game throughout. And there is a certain enemy type I found on my playthrough very early on that I assume is meant to be an enemy that you can't defeat. They're meant to be super, super strong. And I jokingly went up to them with wire cutters, and I just clipped them on the face and killed them. And I was like, "What is going on here?" The combat, and look, I want to be mindful, but I am just going to say what I honestly think is, I just feel like this team, it feels to me that they need to get a dev who has had experience building combat mechanics for other VR games. That's what it feels like to me. This feels like it's the devs have gone, let's just add some combat in, and they've probably done the research or know of it. But like the way this combat works or doesn't work, it feels very, it doesn't feel intuitive. You try and parry, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And so I was just running around just throwing knives, like I think everyone was doing. So yeah. And the combat you're introduced to very early in the game. I mean, honestly, the first time someone showed up, it did make me jump because I'm not used to a wanderer. I'm used to wandering around by myself. Oh, wow, someone's there. And like, there's really cool moments. Like they'll run around the corner and there's a chair on wheels, and like the physics and everything, all of that is so good. And then it's like the combat is it just feels so out of place, which means, again, and this is not making excuses, if they do redesign the combat and make combat feel really deep and like brutal in moments, this game's going to be phenomenal to have it. It's going to make it feel a lot more grounded and like epic. Because
it would make it more like, I mean, that's what they're trying to do, make it a more well-rounded action adventure. It's an action adventure puzzle game with like really high production values. This is why I was saying, like, if this was like perfect, this would be a Last of Us tier, a Uncharted tier. The additions, like they've expanded the environments. All the areas are much bigger. They're really fun to explore and kind of experiment with all the different interactive items that you have. And the platforming that they've added, dude, I love the platforming and climbing. I saw a bunch of posts about people having trouble with the swinging. I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't know if that's. I think that's a user thing.
It's worded
personally.
Poorly. That's the problem with the swing. It's worded poorly. They say open and close your arms. It's like, how about you say swing?
Yeah, that threw me off completely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's literally just the natural way that you would swing. You just reach out and grab. Like, but I think the swinging, the platforming, the climbing is so good. Like that of the new additions, that is definitely like, besides the expanded environments and stuff, that is like one of the big highlights for me because I love those sections. There's really, really some fun climbing and platforming stuff. But yeah, the combat is the one that is like, why did you even add this? Like, this is, Brian, we were talking about this and you were like this isn't even up to like average VR shooter par here. No. Like this is not only bad combat, this is like some of the worst combat that we've ever seen in VR.
But that's the crazy thing, right? Is that I don't know if I'm just coming at
You've
this
gone
from
quiet again, Brian.
What?
I'm pretty sure you have. You sound quiet to me.
Check. Better.
Yeah, it's good.
Better. All right. God, gotta fix some stuff around here.
Maybe down a hair, but
yeah,
just a hair.
Just a hair.
Check. Better. Down another hair.
Well, no. Leave it.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I don't know if I'm coming at this from a different perspective or what, but I'm always going to view Wander as a puzzle game. That's what it is first and foremost.
Yep.
And so the fact that they had added, oh fuck, I'm too loud.
I think that was when you turned it up. That's why
Okay.
I
Check.
told you to turn it down.
All right, keep me posted, guys. Keep me posted. Let me know. I'll check back in a minute and see what you guys are saying about my volume then. It's always going to be a puzzle game to me. And so when they were like, oh, we're added, climbing and ziplining and jumping and platforming and swimming, it was so much, right? It was so much. And I was like, wow, they've really blown this thing out of the water. And I think I've seen complaints about some of that stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, like that stuff is as good as it needs to be, and for it to be here and for it to be quality. And I was very, very, very happy with all those new additions. The one new addition in terms of gameplay mechanics that they added was combat, and it doesn't work, right? But there's still a part of me that says I'm really happy it's there. There are moments in this game when you do not expect to be enemies where they are, and then they are there, and you're like, holy crap, that really was impactful in a way. And that could never have happened in the original game because of its lack of combat, right? I think there was, we don't need to spoil anything. We won't talk about the original
let's avoid
combat.
spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep spoilers completely away. And so it's like, oh man, this sucks, and I wish it was better, but I'm still glad it's there to an extent, right? It makes it feel kind of crappy, like, right? Like, I mean, we all played Stride Fates, and Stride Fates had some really horrible melee combat, right? And but that's like 90% of what you're doing in Stride.
Yeah.
Right. And so when the combat or platforming breaks in Stride, which both were at one point, then that's a major problem. But when combat is like 10% of what you're doing in Fragments Fate, it's less of an issue. Right. I think it can be overlooked a little bit more, or at least that's how I felt about it. Right. Because I was loving everything else that was happening. The puzzles that were here are still amazing. The fact that they've added all this platforming and climbing and made that part of the puzzle solving, saying like, oh, you enter this big area, this underground cavern or whatever it is, and you just see ropes and ladders and all sorts of platforms everywhere, and you're like, how am I supposed to get over there? I think I need to get to, right? And then that begins a environmental puzzle of just trying to traverse this environment. And I, man, so I felt like so much of what they added was great, that it's hard to complain that like one of the elements that they added wasn't great.
Well, it's just really bad.
Right. We should complain about it. It's just harder to complain about it.
Yeah. And again, I also want to really be specific here. Like the shooting isn't great, but the shooting is at least kind of serviceable. And there's a lot of guns, and it works okay. It's more so the melee combat, and it's crazy to me that they even like force you to do that melee combat in the very beginning. Cause I'm like, oh, like, why do you want to, like, please, like, do less of this, like show less of this, do less of this. But yeah, I mean, look, the way that I agree with you, Brian, is like, look, on paper, I do think it's cool to mix it up, make it a more well-rounded game, make it a little bit more exciting, because a lot of people are familiar with, a lot of the people that play video games are familiar with shooters, things like that. But the strength has always been the adventure, the cinematic storytelling, the time traveling, the puzzles. I love the addition of the platforming. And the thing that makes it like, not okay, but a little bit easier to stomach is that there is very little combat in this. Like there's not a lot of combat, and when there is, you kind of, but when there is, it's like I do it, I'm like, oh, like this is ugly, and then I get by it, or I'm like, I kind of feel like it'd be better without this. I think no combat would be better than atrocious combat, personally. But again, if they can fix it up, then I do think it would be an enhancement in some way.
Yeah, that is the tough part of all this, and I feel like I'm getting real into the habit of responding as soon as somebody's done talking, as if it's a 2-person podcast, not a 3-person. So excuse me, Miles, for dominating any of this. But it's I really hope that they're using this as kind of like a place to learn, Mighty Eyes they're putting out this game. They were crazy ambitious, like to the point where like if everything worked perfectly, it's again one of the best VR games I've ever played in my entire life, hands down. Right, it would be one of my favorites at least, if not one of the best. And so I hope that's what they're doing. I hope they're like, we're just going to throw everything in, and I'm sure they were hoping to have it much more polished by launch, and they didn't cross the finish line in time. And so what I'm hoping is that they're taking, they're learning from all of this, and that they're like, yeah, we do want to make the combat better. They've said they want the combat to be better. Like they know it's not great, right? And they're trying to tackle all the bugs. And so my hope is that this VRAF layer they've added on top of the Unreal Engine, which I'm trying to be more specific about ever since World of Long Plays corrected me on it. I'm hoping that they're refining it to the point where when Wanderer 2 comes out, Wanderer 2, Pirate Justice, pretty sure is what it's called. It's not it. And I hope that's the crap we're dealing with and the crap they're dealing with right now will be taken care of by the time that sequel comes out in 2032.
Yeah, I want to make quite a broad point on all of this, which is firstly, this is the team to turn this around. And to be honest, I think turning around is maybe too harsh. It's like it's just about fixing it, and all of the issues we have are fixable. Like the core of the game works. And the broader point I just wanted to make was, I think the reason I feel so passionate about Mighty Eyes and Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate, based on the original, is, and I sort of put this in my summary on my Let's Play, and even thinking about it more now, what I'm about to say might not feel specific. It might be more of a vibe. So I'm just going to say it, and you guys can tell me if you agree with my vibe. But I just find that when it comes to VR games, sometimes you have games that are puzzle games, and when you're in it, you're like, I am playing a puzzle game right now. And sometimes you have games which are going for the cinematic feel, that right now I'm in a movie and it feels like, yeah, I'm in a cinematic experience. I can't do a lot in it, but I'm in this cinematic experience. What I love about Wanderer and what I've experienced so far in Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate, is I actually feel like I'm in a movie. Like, and it doesn't feel like a game. Like, yes, it is a puzzle and you're solving stuff, but it's so cinematic. It doesn't feel like a VR experience. It doesn't feel like a puzzle game. You genuinely feel like you are someone going through this movie and like you are the hero of this story. And it's done in a way at a quality, given there is a lot of glitches and stuff. But like when it is done well, it's done in a way that I've never felt like that in any other VR game that I've played. Now, I've not played Half-Life Alyx, which I know people always talk about, so I'm willing to concede there are games that achieve this that I've not yet, or maybe you'll bring up titles that, oh yeah, maybe I didn't think about it. This feels very special to me, and I'm just so glad there are people like Mighty Eyes in the space that are pushing this forward. And yeah, I do hope that, and we got to take them at their word. They're listening, they're taking notes on all the feedback, they're going to work through it. And if they can fix 90% of these things that we bring up, then I think that this is going to stand the test as being one of, if not the best PSVR2 title to date.
Yeah, totally agree.
Totally. Yeah. We're totally with you, man. And you know, it's just hard because I do want to be very supportive of them because I do believe in the vision. It's the execution that fell short. Yeah. But even, you know, looking beyond the disappointment, beyond the heartbreak or whatever, this is what I'm trying to say as well, man, is like this formula that they have, what they're trying to do here is something really, it's not just you, it is something really incredibly special. Something that could be like very revolutionary, something that could really stand the test of time. I mean, I want them to fix this game first and foremost. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm kind of divided whether or not I like what they've done to this game, because the thing is that Wanderer I already thought was, you know, a 9.5 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. I already thought it was like perfect, but I also like what they're trying to do here. And I like a lot of things about what they did. Like I said, the platform and the climbing, the environments, the way they've expanded them. I mean, before they were just these small little areas, like they were tiny, and now they're like these like pretty sprawling areas that you can like explore, and they're full of detail and secrets and things to discover and collect and unlock. And there's a reward to it, right? Like a reward system to it. But yeah, man, I mean, the potential here, the thing that excites me about this, and the reason I hope they stick with it, I hope they just get enough to stick with this, get this fixed as soon as possible, because I do think this would be something very special for everybody to experience when it's like, at an acceptable state. But the potential for what the future could hold for them, Wanderer 2, with all this stuff polished out, with all this stuff polished, and having these taking over these characters, and they actually tell like meaningful stories, like characters that you can really relate to. Imagine if like every single person you time travel to or whatever and become, then it tells a compelling story with like each one of these characters. Like you're looking at like not only one of the greatest VR games of all time, but like you're looking at one of the greatest games of all time, and they have that, but they have so far to go, and they're not even close to they're not there yet, because they need to fix this game first. And that's looking way far ahead. But I'm telling you, I agree with you. Like that is where I see them potentially doing, if they can, come back from this and get it together and get this fixed and get things going in the right direction again, right the ship. I do believe they can achieve this, but they have to get all this stuff fixed and worked out first.
The only component I have any concern about them fixing is the combat. And when I say that it's just because it needs a massive like rethink of it. It just doesn't work in its current state. Yeah.
Well, Brian, like, so this is the thing, Miles, is that as you go on, the issues get worse and worse. Like you start
you're
like
not talking about combat, you're talking about other issues in the game as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
Other stuff. As you get later in the game, there start to become frame rate issues. Like I said, those bugs, those one little bugs that you see here and there at first that you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. Dude, when you've been playing for 10 hours and experiencing one of those every 5 minutes, that shit adds up. And then on top of that, you get to where Brian is, which is where apparently I am, and now he can't even progress. Like once you, it's just, there's really some issues that just build up and add up. But I do think
those are fixable though. Those are
they're all
Exactly.
fixable.
Yeah.
That's the great news.
That is the great news, right? Because one of the things I've been saying is that, like, because it's a phenomenal game, phenomenal puzzles, phenomenal character interactions. I mean, there's just so much to like about this game, and so it's not like, when I complained about the Foglands at launch, when I said that this game is so buggy and so broken and this and that and whatever, But worse than that is that even when they fix all of these things, there's still not a great game here underneath it all.
Yeah.
Right. And that would be
Sorry,
even more.
Foglands.
Sorry, Foglands. But also fuck you, Foglands. How dare you call this the indie Half-Life Alex? How dare you, sir? So the problem is that there is a good game here, and I guess it's not a problem.
There's an amazing game here. There's an amazing game here that's buried under these issues.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the day that I can do a full review, that I can finish the game, start over from scratch, basically, and experience the game that I'm sure Mighty Eyes wants to deliver on launch, and play through relatively bug free, relatively jank free, and just experience it without getting frustrated or getting thrown across the room when I'm teleporting, or getting burnt because I'm trying to put a torch in my inventory. Like, I mean, I've got, dude, there's just so many little things that's just like, what is happening right now? Like, how I'm watching the game fall apart in front of me on a regular basis, to the point where I just had to stop. I can't play the game anymore, man, because I'm fighting it every second. And so that's the real disappointment for me. Is that, here I was ready for this to be one of my favorite VR games of all time. I think it'll get there, but it's not currently.
Yeah. It's still, honestly, I hate this. Like, it may sound weird. It still kind of is one of my personal favorites at the moment, even with
It's
all
still
the
really
issues.
good. Yeah.
It's like there are things about it that I just, there's so many things about this game that I absolutely adore. Yes, I'm a sci-fi nerd, but the sci-fi is part of it, but just the production values, the cinematic, kind of like the cinematic storytelling thing of it, I really, really like. They're doing way more. A lot of other games have a lot less issues, but they're also way more simplistic than this.
Yep.
This is like almost like to the point of like crazy complex in what it's trying to do. So yeah, naturally there's usually going to be a lot more issues because this is not a simple, one-dimensional game. This is a very dynamic game that you can have a very dynamic experience with. And when it's at its best, it really is amazing. And there's so much to like about it. There's so much charm to it. Like I said, there's a lot of really intelligently created things that they've done here. It's like you said, it's not the foundation of the game that's the problem. The core of the game, the foundation of the game is really special, actually. On the contrary, it is very, very special. It just needs to be cleaned up and polished and get rid of some of this jank and bugs and add some polish to all this stuff that you've added to the game. And you're looking at either a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
Yeah, and I see Nihilus Ryan, the game feeling in the chat, saying, I think expectations have to be managed here. This is a puzzle game dev team. Combat isn't their forte. Exactly. I mean, I 100% agree. And if combat was the only problem, I was still ready to give this a 10 out of 10 just because it was so great at everything else it did. And it was like, oh, combat's just this thing that you can kind of forget about. But that's not the conversation that we're having. We're having a much different conversation than that. I'm hoping to get to the point. I'm hoping Mighty Eyes gets to the point where that's the conversation we're having, where we're saying, yeah, man, maybe combat's still not great. I think it's going to be better, but at least the rest of the game is what it's supposed to be. And right now it's not. And again, I'm very curious to see if you guys experience what I experienced, right? If you start getting thrown around the map, if you start having items disappear that you can't recover with the device that they added in the game that's supposed to be there to recover items with, right? So even that isn't, it's like, so it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
It is. I do think people are being mostly supportive though. I mean, like there's some people that are upset and that's okay. Like it's okay. Yeah.
I'm upset,
but
I'm upset.
Well, I mean, yeah, but expressing it in a different way. And I think I'm with the people that, while I completely sympathize with the people that are like really pissed off, I also am kind of on team like we gotta support this, like we gotta like be as supportive as possible. If you don't like it, don't buy it and wait for patches. But at least in my position right now, like I'm going to continue playing it and I'm just going to be giving them feedback as much as possible, try to help in any way I can. I do want to be supportive here personally, but I'm not telling anybody to go out and buy this or whatever. I personally say wait for a patch or wait for several patches. But I'm going to be trying to do my best to help them out here because this game could be like one of the all-time greats.
Yep. I agree. And also I just want to double down on what you were saying, AJ, about how ambitious this game is, and that they're doing so much more than, you look at the environments and they're so varied. Look at something like Alien Rogue Incursion, and it was like pretty much the same environment from start to finish. There wasn't a lot going on mechanically other than you run around and you shoot one enemy in that game, right? So they took a very measured approach. They said, hey, we're going to like shrink down our scope and the scale of the game and make sure we focus on the one thing that we want to focus on. And they did that, and it was pretty good. And the same with Metro, right? These are games that just did one thing and they did them pretty well. Wander is trying to do like everything, right? And so that's why I'm a little less a little more hopeful for them, a little less disappointed in what happened, and as much as I'm like I would never tell anybody to go out and buy it in its current state. It's a game that we're going to be keeping a close eye on and making sure that we update you at every single patch and say, hey, is it time? Is it time to buy Wanderer now?
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for that day. I want that day to be here as soon as possible.
I need them to pull a Hello Games here, like something awful. I mean, like we need games like this. Like we need, well, obviously like in better condition, but we need what they're trying to do. We need it bad. It's why I play video games. It's because of stuff like this.
What are we all playing on? I'm on the Pro. AJ, you're on the OG.
Base PS5.
Miles Pro.
I was on Pro. Yeah, the one thing I am sad about was I was really excited because I got my parents a Quest 3 for Christmas to finally I can gift this to my dad to play it so my dad can finally experience Wanderer. And as much as we're having issues on PSVR2, it seems that Quest has got his own issues, and so I might have to wait a while for that as well.
Random Toxie, the derail type train, just said, just noticed Tornado chilling in the background. Oh, I think she's all tuckered out. I think she is.
Their spot.
I think she's snoozing up there.
Anyway, I think that's each of our one sentences about Wanderer Fragments of Fate, yeah? I think we've all said our one sentence.
Thank God we get out of here in 5 minutes, because I have a lot of work to do tonight. 86 Therm said, I'll try and have some Fragments of Faith.
Love it.
I definitely have some Fragments of Faith. I definitely have some Fragments of Faith, man.
Yep.
I want to believe, guys. I want to believe.
You gotta do what? Gotta believe.
I need it. Kick, punch. It's all in the bite.
My favorite philosopher, Parappa the Rapper. So much.
Push and turn, signal to right. Push and turn, signal. Okay. Let's tackle these tips. We let them go pretty far.
Flour into the bowl. Sorry.
crack the egg. It's been what 30 years, and somehow it. Oh man. I've been working in the flea market so early. Andrew Bailey with the 5 quid says, had to laugh when Miles
is ajar.
I forgot to close the door. Andrew Bailey said, I had to laugh when Miles fought the first enemy. He totally went Kill Bill on that motherfucker. Beat his ass way too long. LOL and stuff.
He looks really funny. What can I say?
I'm not gonna lie, I was so frustrated watching you play because I was like, oh, like this is the part that was supposed to work.
He was getting really angry. I don't know why.
I was so frustrated yesterday.
I'm like, dude's having fun. He's playing the way he wants to play. But like, he's not doing it right. Ah!
Yeah, no, I was.
The bit I was really worried about was when I was on the raft on the trailer, and you just got to get a cassette. It's the first thing they tell you to do, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Yes. And I was like, I know it's here somewhere, and I eventually found it. And because all I can imagine is the chat just screaming, "It's there, it's there!"
Right, but it wasn't where it was supposed to be, and so like it had to respawn like on the side of the raft or something. Like,
right,
man.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, here's like the reason I was so frustrated was because I've been telling everybody for like a week how great the game was. And then here I was in a spot yesterday where I was like, well, I was working on a review that was basically saying this game's a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. Yes, the combat sucks, but everything else is so good. And then like, nope. Like I had to switch gears. I had to put up a community post just to like let people know as soon as I knew that like maybe you shouldn't be buying this today. And then it was like, then I was sitting here last night going, what do I do? Like I can't. Like I don't have the ability to spend the next 20 hours reworking the review, re-editing the review, rewriting the entire thing, and then to spend 20 hours put out a review saying don't buy it. So what I opted to do instead was spend 3 hours writing up my thoughts and editing a quick Brian bite just to get the word out there. That's really important. I know that Ben Schroeder had left a viewer takeover question. saying maybe you're being too generous to Mighty Eyes by only publishing a Brian Bite and leaving the door open for a re-review. The door is definitely open for a re-review. I'm being generous because this is a studio that's proven they know what they're doing. I'm being generous because I know that this game is going to be good eventually. I'm being generous because I didn't want to spend 20 hours working on a review that I was going to have to redo a month from now with another 20 hours. I don't have that kind of time in my life. You know what I mean? I'm busy eating McDonald's and watching TV. There's just no time for that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
I just wish we all had enough money where I could be like, buy this game, but wait for the patches. But it's just, it's just, that's not fair. That's not fair to consumers. That's an anti-consumer thing. But hey, if you're really rich, buy this game and wait for patches. Only rich people. Only rich people.
Yeah, if you're rich. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Buy this, but yeah, wait for the patches stuff.
Demo the Down Under Game Cat with the Australian $2. Says chalkboard needed in the apartment to take notes. That's actually, you know what? There is just be patient.
Dude, the chalkboard is really fun. You know, you were joking about that, Miles, but I was thinking,
No, I wasn't. It is the physics are amazing and the sound is really good.
Yeah. Like it's actually, and that's the kind of stuff that is just like, that's what VR is all about. Like just something as simple as that, like where you can spend so much time just like having fun, being entertained by that. And think about how like insignificant, how little that is to the rest of the game. But there's lots of things like that. That's where like I think the genius kind of comes from in this game, like where you can get kind of it's both kind of like a non-linear storytelling cinematic experience, like story-driven game, like a campaign that you can finish, but there's like all these other things to do and that you can like enjoy. And that's what also makes it really, really cool. There's so many levels where like I just wanted to slow down and like take my time. Obviously, like I had to get through it, but I really did have the most fun with this game where it was like I'm not rushing at all. Like I'm just going to do what I want to do. Like screw the game, like the story or whatever. It's like, I want to do this for a little bit. And I had so much fun doing that kind of stuff. It was really, really cool. And yeah, the chalkboard was one. I had some fun with the chalkboard and, like I said, the RC car was one. And there's like a whole bunch of other stuff. There's guns they give you. There's toy guns they give you. There's toys. There's all sorts of shit. Lots of really could stuff to mess around with.
You know, I think the chat's onto something, maybe even unintentionally. I think maybe I should have a Brian Bite ready for a launch for every game that comes out, and then 3 months down the line, do my actual review that'll be relevant forever because it's right because it discusses all the patches that have come out over the first 3 months, right? And then I don't have to get stressed out because Brian Bites take about 3 hours to put together. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's time to restructure how this system works, especially with all of these games coming out that are not great at launch. The Hippie Pickle with the level 2 membership says, I kind of want to finish my PSVR playthrough before coming back to Fragments of Fate. I was loving my time on the original at the weekend, moves and all. Peace and love.
You should do it because it's different enough. Having played the original, it is very, very different. I don't know how much he said. Did he say how much he had left? I missed that.
He's going to get to the end. He said, I want to finish my PSVR playthrough.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. I mean, if you've played the majority of it, then I would say, yeah, go for it. Like, I think it would be actually really cool if you look at looking at the footage, it's been so many years. So like, I didn't notice off the top of my head about every last little detail, but if you look at the footage side by side of the original versus this one, you're like, holy shit, like they really did, like this is like a remake. This is not a remaster. This is a complete remake, reimagining. Everything looks like enhanced, more detailed. A lot more stuff has been done. That's probably one of the best things that they executed here is the new graphics, new visuals, things like that, designs.
Nick in the chat says the thing about the Brian Bite strategy is you'll just never do the real review is you'll be like, meh, I did a Brian Bite. That's 100% accurate. This is spoken from a man who knows me well, for sure. Well,
if you picked up Hitman last week or whatever, just keep playing Hitman for a little bit longer because Hitman is freaking fantastic. It's amazing.
The Virtual Resistance with the level 1 membership says, if you had to rate it as is right now, what would it be? Bro, I mean, the game's broken for me. Right, that's the sad part, is that I can't even progress if I wanted to. I'm at a point. You saw the thing with my hand doing this. I saw somebody saying, "Oh, if you pick up an item with your left," people have all sorts of workarounds for like these crazy ass bugs. But like, it's just almost impossible for me to play. And so I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like a 3, I think.
Yeah, I'm at like a 5 or a 6. But really, the game should be a 9 or a 10.
Ace Gamercast says 1 out of 3 paws. Yeah, that's actually the correct answer. It is a 1 out of 3 paws right now. Only buy it if you're very, very patient and you know that patches are coming. Yeah. Miles, you gonna rate it based on your first 2 hours?
No, I can't rate it on the first 2 hours. I mean, for me, it's going to be much more positive than you guys, but I haven't got to the later bit, so I need to play it a lot more.
It's a huge game. The first 2 hours is so insignificant, compared to the rest of the game. I mean, that's, to its credit. Like I said, I don't know how much positive things we've said today. Hopefully like a fair amount, because there are so many positives, and the size and length of the game is one of them. It is a freaking huge game. Like, it is really, really big. And that is definitely something that's great about it.
I'm curious to know how you're doing time-wise on it, AJ, because I think I'm legit at like 18 hours, and I've still got hours to go. I mean, I could probably knock out an hour here and there based on my current playthrough for issues that I've had, crashes, this, that, whatever, right? But I mean, still, to say 16 hours and not done yet, where are you at? How much time have you spent?
I wish I was timekeeping a little bit better. I haven't been, though, but I know I'm several hours in, probably around the 10-hour range, maybe.
But still plenty to go.
Wasn't there a trophy on the PSVR Wanderer to complete the entire game in so many moves? Or
yeah, like 20 jumps or something like that, yeah.
So is that going to be...
I don't know.
I'm looked at the trophy list for this one, but yeah.
I got to take a look. But
I fucking love these cats, man. These comments are so great. Positive things. Positive.
I'm not a fan of puns personally, but fair.
Yeah, I know that about you. Salvador with the level 3 membership says, how will this affect Wanderer's rank on the top 25? Catch y'all on the replay. Great show, Miles, AJ, Brian, and Katz.
In its current state, it's not on my top 25.
Yeah, I mean, it needs work before we start recommending it. So yeah, it's not on my top 25 currently. However, if and when it gets fixed, I mean, we're talking like top 5 easily for me.
I still think if this game was like perfect, it'd be the best game.
Yeah,
I think it'd be number 1 if it was where it should have been.
Nick in the chat says the new trophy is like 50 jumps. Okay. That's way more. You still have to plan it all out and like do it, but yeah, I don't know. I want to spoil things, but we'll do a spoiler cast, and maybe when the game gets fixed, we can get through it completely. Just like Madison will have its own separate spoiler cast at some point.
Yeah.
GameCast, specifically White Tiger with a Canadian $5 tip, says, I feel so bad for these devs. Their game had to be the ultimate peak PSVR2 game. IMO Q2, in my opinion, Quest 2 and Quest 3 messed up their launch. Should have planned it like Alien launch. Listen, we know. Go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, what devs want is not what happens. Like, devs would like to release a game in a certain way, but it's about publishers, it's about lots of different moving parts, and there's a give or take. So yeah, so for that, I kind of agree with you. I always feel for devs, but at the end of the day, deadlines are made, and eventually they have to decide when it goes out. Like, this game has been delayed for a long time already.
There's a whole element to the fact that, yes, they're trying to get it on multiple systems at a time, and then on top of that, I'm sure most devs are looking at the Quest 2, or sorry, the Quest user base and then the PlayStation VR2 user base and saying, which launch do we have to focus on more? Like, which should be our focus in order, because they're probably looking at Quest and saying, well, there's millions and millions of people over there that we could sell our game to. How many PSVR2 gamers are we actually going to sell our game to? And so I'm having to split their time like that and having to make decisions like that. I don't envy them, right? I just don't think it's gonna. It never ends well. So I do think the Quest 2 and Quest 3 messed up their launch, because their attention was just split in so many different directions.
Spread thin.
Yeah.
Obviously them being on Meta, I'm sure they got some funding, some support from Meta, and that's why they're releasing on that. And that honestly, it hurt. Yeah, it hurt being spread thin. That's probably the biggest thing. But actually, in terms of like the way the game was designed or whatever, it actually didn't have as bad of an effect that I've seen like other games have, where it's like, this is clearly like the fact that this even runs on Quest is actually kind of surprising. If it even does, I don't know for sure because I don't really play on Quest, but I do think they minimized. The worst part is just about being spread thin and both versions being kind of incomplete and whatever. So yeah, it did have a direct negative impact on it. But in terms of just like the way the game was designed, like I don't think it really didn't compromise anything in terms of like the structure of the game or anything.
Yeah, the scope is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's, what is it, like 60 gig or something like that on PS5s. It's probably taking up your entire Quest hard drive.
Yeah.
Parasite 82 Green with the 10 quid says, finally, after IVF treatment, me and my wife have a newborn since February. I will be jumping on my PSVR2 backlog tomorrow, starting with Hitman, and can't wait. Keep up the good work. Brian, spelled wrong, AJ, Miles, and Wes.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Oh yeah.
Another
VR player, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, game
This is how we grow the player base.
Yeah. We'll do it organically.
It works for Catholicism. I don't know. Is that why we're
VR?
Yeah, for real. The word that stands out for me on this tip, so hopefully I'm not misreading it, Parasite, the very first word is finally. Like it makes me feel like this has been something that they've been really wanting for so long. And so congratulations, man. Congratulations. That's fantastic news.
Oh yeah.
Also, I can't believe that you've had a newborn since February and you're already ready to get back into the PSVR.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be very short spurts of time that you're going to be in VR. GameCat Goofin in virtual unreality with the level 2 membership says, they got my $50. Hope they can use it to keep the team going. Amazingly detailed textures. Gonna play as slow as I can and enjoy Hitman till it fix. Yeah,
it's a good attitude. They owe us big. They owe us one. For every person like you out there, they owe you. They do. They are in our debt now. But like these guys said, I do think they're very capable of getting it there and making good on it. And I hope they do.
They'll give you a $10 discount on Wanderer too.
Oh no.
It is I agree, great attitude to have. It's easy. I think it's easy to shit on developers not knowing what goes into it or why games have to be released at a certain time. And it sucks because you give them their money and you're not getting the game that you were promised. Like it really sucks from a consumer standpoint. But man, it's like I hope the mentality of like demonizing developers, saying it's a cash grab, they knew what they were doing, blah blah blah. It's not real, man. It's not real. You're trying to dehumanize people who are just trying to create awesome entertainment, right? If Mighty Eyes only cared about money, do you think they'd be making a fucking VR exclusive game? No, they wouldn't. They'd go try to make fucking Fortnite or something,
or another Beat Saber clone or a rhythm game.
yeah.
Mobile games, mobile
so
microtransactions.
So tired of rhythm games. So tired. Yeah. Okay, we got one more. We got what's up, Red Rover, the effing game cat with the $5 tip says AJ wants to play Let's Create Pottery in Wanderer. That's that PSVR pottery game, right? LOL. Yeah, I remember Let's Create Pottery.
I couldn't play it because it crashed within like 5 seconds.
Oh.
The one time it was chosen, I bought it for Saturday Night Live streams, and then I made it like 10 minutes, and then it just crashed on a loop. I tried.
That sucks. Yeah, I played it on a live stream, and then that was the end of it. I remember, like, I think I only played it because, God, if I remember correctly, Madman and Black the Game Cat wanted it. Names of Game Cat past. Hopefully you're still around there somewhere, Phil. We love you. Okay, guys, we're well over our time. So let's do, if you guys are ready, a little 4-minute challenge. We ready for this?
So you're choosing the game.
Oh, I've chosen the game, my friend.
Okay.
You don't choose the game. The game chooses you.
Chooses you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It does indeed.
All right. Here we go, guys. No, and feel free to use the chat. I was
Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
I was gonna pretend like I didn't hear that unless you said it again. Then I was gonna argue and fight you over it.
there are two of you, and I think between the two of you, you should be able to get it. However, you know what? We want the chat to feel like part of the game, and so please,
man.
everybody
We're
out
not
there,
doing
help.
this just for us.
We're not.
No, hell no,
Bro. I told you about this before. When Jeremy and I used to film, when Des and I used to film, we used to call it playing house. We used to record and just we'd record and then just be like, yep, we'll upload it and just pretend like we were YouTubers. We're pretending to be YouTubers. Huh, look at us, we're playing house. And so I've always kind of gotten used to just doing things for myself and doing things the way that you look very full of cum.
God damn.
All right, let's do this, guys. Help him out. Help him out in the chat. Make sure you ask good questions for them to ask me, and make sure you give good game suggestions. Looper, sit down, based on the answers that I give. On your mark, get Des. Go.
Is it on PSVR 2?
Of course it's not. That would be ridiculous. That'd be way too easy.
Go, Miles, go. Quick, speed.
Go, Miles.
Has it got multiplayer?
Yes.
Good question. Has it got, is it PvP?
No.
Was it only on PSVR?
No.
Is it a shooter?
No, you would definitely not classify this as a shooter.
Is it a sports game?
Nope.
Is it sci-fi?
Yes.
And have they gone for a realistic aesthetic?
I mean,
Is it okay? Is it cartoony?
it's something in the middle, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. Yeah. Try to get you a better answer while we talk.
You said it's not PvP?
It's not PvP. No.
It's co-op,
It is co-op. Yes.
but it's not a shooter?
It's not a shooter. No. Not no.
Is it racing?
No.
Are you in vehicles though?
You are. And also, I just looked up some screenshots. It's looking decidedly more realistic than cartoony for sure.
Okay.
Do you float around in space?
Yes.
Is it DualShock only?
I don't believe so.
I think it's attached, Miles.
It is not. It is DualShock only.
Is it a hardcore space barf simulator?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, I thought there was move support, but the PlayStation Store is saying no, there's not. So my apologies.
Okay.
Oh,
2 minutes, please.
Is it up to 4 players?
Yes.
Is
And
it
it's
based on?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it based on
Everybody's
Star
got it.
Trek?
It is based on Star Trek.
That didn't have move support. Are you sure?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, check out the PlayStation
It
Store
did.
listing.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I
PlayStation
thought.
Yeah,
Store's
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miles. Take it away.
Is it Star Trek Bridge Crew, Brian?
Indeed, it is Star Trek Bridge
go.
Crew from
Why don't
Ubisoft
they bring
launching
that to PSVR2? It's so good. It is
May
such
30th.
an amazing game.
May 30th, 2017. Yeah, Ubisoft's got bigger fish to fry these days.
I know.
They're just trying to not close their doors. Yeah, Bridge Crew, amazing multiplayer co-op experience. Every single position on that bridge was so much fun to play, and people who got really into role playing as the captain. Oh my god, I loved everything about it. It stressed me out playing, but it was so much fun.
I only played it once, but I had a really great time.
You only played it once ever?
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
my God, I played so
played
much of it.
I played it for a couple hours, just one time. That was it.
I had so many laugh out loud moments, and it was like I played it very early on into my PSVR time of having the headset, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the future of gaming. This is like unbelievable how funny it is. Just the movement of people, as you say, the role playing aspects. But even when people aren't role playing and it's like fire torpedoes and someone's there going, but I don't know how to do it. And it's just the wildest episode of and then you could be in the original Enterprise. And it had all the buttons from the ship, which obviously when they did the TV show, they never really had to worry about what the buttons did. And so you're in this thing with this massive display of buttons, and in the game they've made random ones do certain stuff. And oh man,
I just remember Super Tramp Yuki making me laugh like crazy. Like I was like questioning like the way he looked or something. I just remember him being like, "I was born like this." And I was like, "Oh my god."
Dude, and I was such a huge fan of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and so they released that with the Next Generation Enterprise and the updated bridge for all that. So good,
I like what Secrets of is getting at here, though. Man, can we get some Galaxy Quest DLC for this, please?
Oh my goodness, that'd be great.
Yeah. And the chat is definitely saying it absolutely had move support. Yeah, no, it did. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't trust my memory enough, but the problem is that trusting the PlayStation Store is so much worse than trusting my memory. So maybe I shouldn't be doing that either.
True.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you, AJ, for being here. Thank you, Miles, for being here. Remember, guys, do not forget to click all the links in the description below. Go subscribe to AJ at PSVR Underground. Subscribe to Miles at youtube.com/Miles, where he's playing every single VR game like ever created. Well, for PSVR 2.
PSVR 2. Let's narrow it down a little bit.
But also join our Discord. Click the link in the description below. That's where conversations like this happen 24/7, and I hang out way too much. I'm there like all day, every day while I'm working, which explains why I don't get much work done. And if you guys want to come hang out, I believe we're going to be doing a stream on Sunday on Without Parole, a little fundraiser stream to kick off for the PAX East 2025, which is only 1 month away. Also come to PAX East 2025. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. Good times. Thanks everybody who supports the channel financially over on patreon.com/withoutparole games, over here by being a member, by tipping during the show. We appreciate it all. Thank you for keeping the lights on. It means the world to us, but we're just happy that you're here, being part of the community, hanging out during the show, shooting the shit in the chat, helping your 20 questions, and of course, everybody who sits back, watches the show, and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Here it is, your clip of the week, courtesy of Jay, the foveated, rendered Game Cat. Let's go.
Candles, my favorite. You are impossible, Roberto. Look, don't talk. Just listen for a second. I like you, Roberto. You're a lot of fun, and I could even see this under the right circumstances. We...
Streaking.
It's so good. It's so good. Remember, guys, you can leave your clip of the week post in our clip of the week channel over on Discord. Just upload the video over there. And this is literally the first one I saw when I was going through. People have uploaded so many great Hitman clips, but that one was just amazing. Amazing. I love it.
Keep them coming.
Fuck yeah, keep them coming. Parasite 82 Green with the 2 quid says, Brian, sorry, my bad for the spelling mistake. Ha! Glad I made you feel bad about that. Just kidding. I feel bad that I made you feel bad about that.
Guilt trip tax is
what a
good money
cash
maker.
grab. What a cash grab, Brian.
This whole show's been nothing but a cash grab. All right, guys. We love you. Have a great weekend. Good night.